Okay, 100 years ago, Tennessee became the 36th state to ratify the 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote. It was a long, hard-fought battle. It began before the Civil War, and after the Civil War in 1870, there was a moment where it might have been part of the 15th Amendment that granted black men the right to vote, but the suffragists lost that debate. And so over the ensuing decades, it went to a state level battle where several western states granted franchise to women. But really at the federal level, it really didn't pick up steam until the first elected woman from Montana, Jeanette Rankin, the first female congresswoman, introduced the bill in 1917, and for the very first time, it passed the House. Unfortunately, it died in the Senate, and even though she would lose her election or re-election, Woodrow Wilson had picked it up, and he had changed his tune on it, and it was passed in 1919, and then ultimately ratified by Tennessee, took it over the top 100 years ago today on August 18th. Now, of course, for women of color, voting restrictions along with for women of color and men of color, particularly in the Jim Crow South, thwarted those ambitions that really wouldn't be remedied at all until the Voting Rights Act of 1965. So a long, hard struggle, and that struggle continues today. So, in honor of this 100-year anniversary, we are going to make the Suffragette cocktail. Now, I'm going to call it the Suffragist because that's the proper term we'd use today. And essentially is 1 part sloe gin. And for those of you like me that had a bad experience with sloe gin in high school, it was a tough purchase to make. 1 ounce of vermouth, the sweet Italian vermouth. I'm using the Cokie, it's lovely. And then 1 ounce of the dry French vermouth. Now, in truth, this Dolan Blanc vermouth is really a medium dry. It's semi-sweet, but it makes for a lovely cocktail. Add a dash or 2 of Reagan's Orange Bitters. And then, here we go. Then you want to stir. You really want to stir this thing so that it's quite cold. Pour into a cocktail glass. And there we have it. Garnish with our lemon, and there you have the Suffragist cocktail. Now, back in the 1920s, those that in that summer, they could have not have had this or any other cocktail because Prohibition had taken effect January of 1920 to celebrate that moment. So, but thankfully, we can celebrate this because Prohibition's long over. So I'd like to say, raise a toast to all those who fought for the 19th Amendment and all those that continue the fight for women's equality, for full equality of all women in our body politic and our society. Cheers to all of you and us.